Disney and Gina Carano have settled their lawsuit. Looks like a big win for Gina, but for some people, it's not quite sitting as well with them. So let's go ahead and dive into this video and talk about what's happening. So if you don't know, Gina Carano, right? She was in The Mandalorian, right? As Cara Dune. She did have a lawsuit against Disney for wrongful termination after cancel culture got her fired because she made a post on her Instagram stories or Twitter or something like that about likening a lot of what was going on in the world. Here she says, Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children, because history is edited. Most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? She posted. So in this case, obviously at this time, and we still see a lot of backlash if anybody has conservative values, especially in the entertainment space, and the cancel culture is real if anybody voted for Trump, right? So yeah, it definitely was worse back then when this was happening and she was tweeting this stuff because it was absolutely insane. People were scared to say that they voted for Trump because they were scared they're gonna lose their job. It was crazy. People just, the dogpiling was wild. You were called a bad person, a racist, and I know we still have that. It didn't go away. But yeah, especially as an actor or somebody in the spotlight in the entertainment space, yeah, you are risking being kicked out of the club if you have any sort of conservative values, right? So that's when she made that post. She got a lot of backlash, got fired from Disney, and she was supposed to have future projects, possibly a new spinoff of Cara Dune's spinoff with The Mandalorian, all of this stuff. Disney made a statement regarding her letting her go, or layoff there. That definitely made her look bad in how they said it in a roundabout way, and that would have made future opportunities for her more difficult to come by as a result. So she did file this lawsuit. Elon Musk did assist with that because he did say that he would be helping people pay their lawyer fees, or paying all of them, if they were wrongfully fired because of Twitter, right? So here we have settled the lawsuit. And she made a post saying, I have come to an agreement with Disney/Lucasfilm, which I believe is the best outcome for all parties involved. I hope this brings some healing to the Force. I hope to make you proud. I am excited to flip the page and move on to the next chapter. My desires remain in the arts, which is where I hope you will join me, is what Gina Carano said. So it definitely sounds like they gave her a bag, that would be the assumption here. But let's see where, so they did file a motion to have the suit dismissed, right? And all of that stuff. Well, and they ended up instead doing this, right? So now we also have this statement. The Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future, Disney said in a statement. And then she says here, and the truth will set you free. She's happy. So I'm curious about this whole situation. We have some people who are some people are not happy because they wanted to see more. They wanted to see Disney get exposed. They wanted more tea. They wanted Disney to really have to be punished with this whole situation. But instead, there was an agreement made here. I am definitely curious to what the extent of, because again, with this lawsuit, part of the lawsuit was, hey, we were supposed to have more opportunities to work together. I should be allowed to move forward with opportunities to work with Disney Lucasfilm and all of this stuff. And so yeah, I'm curious about the money element, because the money that she actually asked for, I think it was only like $75,000. So it wasn't even a lot. Granted, I would assume that if this actually would have proceeded even without an agreement and she did win, then she would have got more than that. Was it more than just, or was it like 200? I don't remember. But anyway, I would have assumed that she would have gotten a lot more than that. But what I am led to believe in this situation is that we're probably, I'd be shocked if we actually see anything big that Disney Lucasfilm does put her in. I mean, I almost wonder if they got to do something, though, because of this agreement. I don't know if we're going to be getting a full-on Cara Dune spinoff show as we were expected, but maybe in some sort of future Star Wars Disney Plus series or something, they might give her some sort of little cameo or something to that effect. But I'm also going to assume that they paid her some good money, and she's good with that. She's happy with that. So, she's happy. I'm happy. But yeah, it would have been nice to see Walt Disney get, more exposed than what they have in this situation. It does feel a little bit like, it does feel a little underwhelming when you're like, yeah, let's go. Let's drop some receipts. Let's see some more stuff. Because, there's obviously blatant hypocrisy here. Because you had Pedro Pascal, who was making outrageous claims, like just absolutely outrageous social media posts. Not to mention how devastated he was at the unaliving of PDF files with the well, at the BLM, like Kyle Rittenhouse, all that stuff, and how he made that his personality for a time. But it's just like, the double standard was crazy how Pedro Pascal could say things. But then, and he also, because they want to act like, oh, it's because she made a statement about the Jews and the Nazi soldiers, and what they went through was way worse than what Trump supporters go through. So this is a gross exaggeration, so on and so forth, which I disagree. I don't think she was saying that Republicans had it as bad. She was saying that, hey, look what happened to get to that point with this. So what do you think if we continue on this trajectory? Bad things could also happen in a similar manner with Republicans, right? So that was a fair point. That was definitely not anything remotely worth getting fired for. And I find it hilarious because the people who wanted her fired, they hate Jews. They're like the Queers for Palestine stuff. And obviously this statement was way before all of that stuff happened. But still, they've like notoriously been like hated Jews, right? The left. So it's just very odd that that's where they were like, yeah, that's where we want to fire her. And it was funny. I remember like around that time, I made some sort of reply supporting Gina Carano or something. She ended up following me again, which I was so stoked. Follow me back. But it was before that, though. It was like right when I just was offering her support for the situation. I do remember, because at the time, like, man, I was doing a lot of work in the mainstream gaming industry and stuff. That was before I got like as canceled, right? Fully blacklisted, right? People saw my reply and they were stoked because they thought, oh, you're cooked now. Now you're canceled. Now you're ruined. I remember somebody screenshotting it or replying or quote tweeting it. And they're like, we got you. You're ruined now. Like they just thought that they were going to be able to bury me because I supported Gina Carano. So we can't forget. I know right now, things have gotten really volatile on social media. Things have gotten really crazy. And I feel like among all spaces, obviously we know like the woke left was insane, absolutely wild. But I do feel like there is an extreme on the right. I do think a lot of it is propaganda bots, though. I don't think it's real. But they're trying to push this, this actual white supremacist narrative. I know I mean it, like where they are very anti-race mixing in any capacity. They are absolutely like, oh, we just like it's bad. But again, I think that a lot of that is just propaganda to make the right look extreme and try to make the right look racist, this, that, and the other. So whether that's paid for by like CCP, DNC, we don't know. But there are definitely concerted efforts to make the right look very radicalized with these crazy things and stuff like that. So it does exist. But I think that some people also, man, they got sick and tired of what happened whenever all of this woke stuff took over. And it was very extreme. It was to the point to where if you were not on that super woke side, it was even like with BLM, remember? We couldn't even, it wasn't enough just to not even say anything. It was like, you have to say something. Silence is violence. If you don't, like, we're going after you. We see you and trying to make you lose opportunities. Like, it was wild. So, yeah, sometimes I feel like on social media, sometimes it does seem like a little bit of it. We're steering toward almost an overcorrection in a way. And so with some of this fighting going on and unnecessary stuff. And when, for example, like think about the jab mandates that they were trying to push and all this stuff, which I didn't get the jab. I got canceled. A lot of people, they tried to cancel us and because we didn't get the jab or we were against the mandates. Well, then when somebody, passes from a vaccine injury, then you got some people on social media celebrating it because, haha, I didn't get it. See, we told you. And it's that kind of extreme that I'm talking about, that this is way too much of a course correction because we obviously should never be celebrating as somebody, even if in their error, right? Even if, and I'm not even against everybody who wanted to getting it, even though, yeah, it's sad to see that the injuries that have been involved in it, but we shouldn't be celebrating that. Even if they said terrible things, like we shouldn't be celebrating when someone passes away. Let's not become the enemy here. So yeah, I do feel like there's a little bit of a course correction that, but again, a lot of that is propaganda bots on social media, which is one of the reasons why I left Twitter. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to ramble about another topic here. But anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And I would love to see you on my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mac, which I have linked in the description. I have Jeep vlogs like every weekday and Bible verses of the day every day. I would love to see y'all there. Thank you again for hanging out with me. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.